be upon you all, and welcome on board in the world of artificial intelligence. In fact, artificial intelligence is not something new, it's not the nowadays trend. Artificial intelligence existing since the humanity start thinking of using some machines to achieve their goal or to do something instead of them. So artificial intelligence, regardless of what you think about, it's already here and we are using it on a daily basis. Even if you expect that this artificial intelligence is something unexpectedly going to replace you, this is not the true at all. If you expect that, so please rethink. Few days back, I have been asked to do some task in my work and I didn't know anything about this technology. So what I did, I start using artificial intelligence, I search, I connecting the dots, and then I did the task in one single day. The same task, if I will do it in a regular ways, like searching, collecting information, start doing that stuff, it will take me minimum a week. So artificial intelligence, it won't replace me, but it will make my life much easier. And I'm always recommended people to remember this golden rules. It's never been about the tool. It is always about the user. You are the user. You are the person who is going to use the artificial intelligence. How can you use it? It's going to reflect the response and the output of whatever artificial intelligence you are using. My name is Ahmed Sami. I'm a software engineer. I love to share knowledge. I'm so enthusiastic based on religious belief as a Muslim because we believe that knowledge which we have is not belong to the individual, it's belong to everyone all over the world. That's why we believe and encourage to share knowledge which could be helpful for you and for everyone else around. Let's make our life better by sharing beneficial knowledge for everyone. With that said, let's get into the content of our presentation. Introduction of what is artificial intelligence, the evolving of large language machine model. The presentation, it will be so simplified. We will use simple words for common people with with non-technical background and for technical people with a technical background. The presentation, it will serve you if you work on software technology or even if you are just a regular user who would like to have a glance and overview understanding of what is the magnificent artificial intelligence, what is the magic of artificial intelligence, how everything is going to work, and we will have some theoretical part of artificial intelligence and we will have practical part. How can you use artificial intelligence for your sake and to make your tools helpful for you and to make a daily tasks, routine tasks much easier and you will enjoy so much. If you never know anything about technology, it's not a problem. You will enjoy the presentation. It will be simple. With that said, let's get into the first part of our introduction. It's towards large language model. We will start from the beginning. From the beginning, we had what we call it natural language processing. Natural language processing is subfield of computer science. The purpose of that it is focusing on interaction between human being such as us and computer. You talk to computer somehow to make this computer do a job and certain job for you. Where this natural language processing is used. We use natural language processing for several aspects in our daily life, something like sentiment analysis. If you would like to analyze the tone of something, the tone of text, you want to know the emotional status of something. It is a text or it is a tone. Exactly like if you are a human being and you hear someone angry, you hear someone sad, so you can understand. Natural language processing is also implemented in that way. Sentiment analysis. Machine translation, which you use it on a daily basis, like when you use Google Translate, for example, and speech recognition, when you talk to computer and this computer converting your words into text that you can read it later. And text summarization, if you read a huge article and you feel that you get lost, you can take this article, use natural language processing, and will make summary for this article for you, will make it much easier. Name it entity recognition. If you have a piece of text and you provide it to artificial intelligence, ask it to detect some of the famous companies, famous names, famous personals that could happen by natural language processing. Question answering that you ask and you got response as a question. From the natural language processing, we are moving forward towards machine learning. Machine learning simply is to teach the computer to do some specific tasks without guidance. You just teach the computer how to do that, then the computer will continue doing it on its own. It will learn from you. Like you got someone, like a kids, like a children, you teach them something, and by error, mistakes, feedback, they are going to learn. For this machine learning, we have three different types of teaching the machine how to learn, how to do some tasks instead of us. First one, we call it supervised learning. When we provide the machine with questions and we give the answer, so already the machine knows that question and knows the answer. So supervised, you have the upper hand over the languages, over the information you provide it to the machine language. Second one, unsupervised. You provide questions, and you teach the machine to predict a specific pattern from that questions to continue and complete answer for you. So the machine will start thinking on its own without your supervision. We have the third part, it will be reinforcement learning. When you teach the machine how to behave according to your feedback. For example, you provide the machine with a shape, it's a square, and you ask the machine to detect the shape. The machine said it is a circle. You provide feedback and you say, no, it is not a circle, it is a square. That's what we call it reinforcement learning. It's coming from feedback of the output of the machine itself. That takes us that there is a different fields of machine learning. Also, we use machine learning in specific areas such as image recognition to detect this image, what kind of things in that image, animal, fruit, person, whatever. Fraud detection, when you get email address and you suspect this is spam, it is not email address which genuine, so machine learning used to do this. Recommendation system, when you surf social media applications, for example, and you notice that, oh my god, how come this computer know exactly what I want to watch, what the next video is going to be. So it's learning from you, then providing you recommendation according to your personal analysis all the time. Text summarization is using machine learning. Natural language processing also inside machine learning. Autonomous vehicles, you know, Tesla and the most famous machine driving, self-driving is using machine learning as well. That takes us from machine learning into neural networks. Neural networks is not something new. It is your brain, your mind, how your mind works, how this connecting the dot into your brain works, how you think, how you act, how you react. So neural network is just a type or algorithm used in a machine learning that inspired by our human brain and how it works. The neural networks can perform so complex tasks by training these neural networks in a huge amount of data. Similarly to human being, when you study specific field, you are specialized in that field because you have been trained on a huge amount of data and subject along your lifetime. Takes us to the fields which we use neural networks in, something like classifying data into categories. For example, you provide a chunk of data, text contains a lot of stuff, and you ask the neural networks to classify it into fruits, whatever, persons, objects, tasks, or stuff like this. Regression is when you predict output from input provide. You provide some questions, some stuff, and the neural networks will analyze it, process it, and provide you back the output from this part. Natural language processing also is best working with neural networks. That lead us to the magnificent large language model. Large language model is the building block of all this artificial intelligence nowadays, or ChatGPT if you hear about it, perplexity, and other different websites which provide the ability to use artificial intelligence on a daily basis tasks. Large language model is consists of the neural networks in main and the machine learning and many other parameters. We train a specific model on a specific topic. Similarly, like when you go to college, you be specialized in some field of our life expertise. Like you have been a doctor, you train on a model of doctors. You would like to be a physicist, you train on a physics. You would like to be a trainer, you train on a trainer topic. So exactly the same behavior is working with the model. You get a model, you train this model on a specific topic, and then later you use this model to ask answering question on the fly. Getting back to some fields of large language model where it is used. It's used in text generation. When you give question, you generate some text based on your question. Translation, like Google Translate, also questioning answering, text summarization, code generation, especially for programmers or who work in IT sphere, they are heavily using artificial intelligence like model for code. Chatbots, when you communicate uh, with robots, for example, when you start communicate with someone and this someone is answer machine answering you back and forth, that's also made by a specific model. There are some characteristics or parameters for the model we need to be aware of, like the model size. Model size typically is the number of the parameter which this model used to be trained on, and in the neural networks as well. Training data set size, the size of the data where this model is trained on. How many books, for example, how many articles, how many websites this size this model is training for using. Cost of training, because it's not cheap to train your model on a specific topic. You need resources. Resources in the term of software engineering, it is hardware like computer, memory, graphic, all this stuff, surfing the internet, software, how you can teach your model. So the cost of training is one of the important parameters. Performance after training. Based on the previous point, you can get the performance and measuring this performance. The performance is how your model is going to behave in special cases or questions and how to provide more accurate answer and responses. There are some consideration for the models, things such as scale or the data size. The more you can make the data size and the amount of data size big, the more that you will get the diversity of answering and responding could satisfy what you are looking for. Complexity of neural system nodes, because it's not just you ask and you got question. No, it's going to search and connecting the dot from different places, exactly like your brain nodes. It's like, when you have a cluster of fruits and this one going to this one, going to this one, going to this one, they are all connected. This consideration. Ethical consideration. Unfortunately, because machine learning or large language models, everyone could have its own models. You can, some government, some whatever organization could train its own model to give a specific response which ethically not good and not correct. Like you dehumanize some specific people, you accuse other people with something, race, gender, or stuff like this. So there is very important consideration when you are using artificial intelligence to be aware of. There is architecture of large language model. This architecture is so simple. It's all about tokenizing, like input which you write. These tokens can be words which you write or a specific phrase or some punctuation marks, and that's going to be break the text which you write. It's going to be breaks into what we call it tokens. Token is a term that will be used inside the model itself, and this token will be getting the words and converting them into numbers, because numbers are much easier to deal with in algorithmic and mathematical operation in large language model. When you input the tokens, you will get output. Output is simply a prediction of the process of estimating what will be the next word in sequence. You write a sentence, what could be next word? I like to, okay, I like to do what? Here, the output will become from this token process which you get to the machine learning. We use the neural networks in this condition as our brain, so we can communicate in much larger scale. As you can see here, the input layer, and there are all of this neural network processing what could be next to get you the output layer. We're moving next to the pre-training styles of large language model. There are some pre-training like autogressive style, which means that you provide the model with a questions or segment, and the model itself should predict the tokens that follow this segment. I like to eat, then it will predict, okay, ice cream or something else based on the data set which that model was trained on. We get into masked. Masked is similar to autoaggressive, but the difference that you will provide a sentence, but you mask few places and you ask the model to predict the masked part. As you can see here, I like to masked, and then the system will predict whatever it wants. How can you improve the model? If you would like to know more about improving the large language model, simply enough, we call it fine tuning. Fine tuning is when you train the model in a smaller data set specific for downstream, like what we said before. You train this model to be doctor, you train this model to be engineer. That's fine tuning. Prompting, when you deal with machine languages, large language models, you need to ask the right question, which means that you need to type prompt. We call it prompt, but in fact it's just a sentence you write to guide this model to give you the right answer. So prompt is just instruction. You instruct the model to answer you back. It's similarly when you are in a conversation with someone, you ask this person question and this person will give you answer, then go back and forth. Instruction tuning, it will be the next one. When you provide some instruction specifically to generate text, depends on some kind of contract. You have some specific like contract in mind, or you have some specific idea, so you instruct the model to give you this specific answer. Reinforcement learning, as we said before, by giving feedback or penalty. If okay, so +1, if not -1. Artificial intelligence are no different than human beings. You know, sometimes in different situations, someone will ask you a question and you don't know the answer, but you will say, oh yeah, we can do this and that and that. And you start think out of context and you give answer based on that maybe this person will not understand what I'm talking about. So you can avoid the embarrassment. Large language models, it has the same, because who made the models? It is us human beings. So it's okay, no problem. But hallucination in large language model is the fact that you will get response which not justifying the training set or justifying what you're looking for. But why this hallucination is happening in a computer science or in a model itself? Because sometimes the data set itself where this model was training, it was incorrect, or there is misinformation in this data set. Like what we said before, it's ethical question about the data set you use to train your model. Less information. When you provide or when you asked your model, you didn't ask the model exactly what do you want to know. For that reason, the model gives you answer response depends on what you asked. So the right question will lead to the right answer. So remember that. Simply just using imagination, like we do, a human being. Okay, but how can we avoid this hallucination in large language model? Because maybe I will not be able to validate what my friends told me that in the same time, but I can do that with machine. Like first of all is to validate what is provided to you. Your responsibility is to follow best practicing. Best practicing is data cross check. If you ask the model to provide you with some information, you suspect that it could be not what you're looking for, your responsibility is to check yourself in another source. Find another reliable source, compare the output, and see if the model provides you with the right or with the wrong answers. Use the model for the task it's made for. This model it's made mainly for programming. Use it for programming. It's made for cooking. Use it for cooking. Don't use a cooking model to predict a generating code or to build a structure or to build a house. So use the model for the task it's made for. Analyze the information presented to you by suspecting it. Ask the model for more clarification. Write more question. Try to interrogate the model. Tell me more. I want to know. Oh no, I don't understand this point. Can you give me more? So by this way you validate and you avoid the hallucination. For the security of large language model, this is unfortunately not something easy, and large language model are not secure. So don't provide any unintentional exposure of your personal information. Don't provide the large language model, ChatGPT or whatever, with anything related to your security. You can put yourself in danger. So try as much as you can to use generic phrases, generic term. If you are a programmer, don't provide credential, use something like we call it mocking, and similarly to any other field. For everyone, this is a bonus slide I have made specially for you. You can make a screenshot, you can take a photo right now, and I will count till 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is done. I will move towards the next. So it was just a comparison between natural language, machine learning, and large language model. Let's get into conversational versus inline tools which use in machine learning and large language model. We focus mainly on conversational tools more than inline tools. Inline tools are especially for programming. It will be the end of the presentation. But now we will focus for conversational because conversation, everyone could use it, even free. There are different websites providing this option. So we will go into conversational tool. What is conversational tools in artificial intelligence? Simply is a way of communication in conversational manner, which mean talk, which mean type whatever you want, using long descriptive inputs. That's what we call it prompt. Prompt is descriptive input. You type some text like ChatGPT, for example, which is a famous one. So prompts itself, what it is? Prompt is giving instructions to artificial intelligence system to perform a specific task in your mind. It can be a simple question or a complex set of tasks. You just write simple or you write a big chunk of text and you ask the artificial intelligence to do something for you. Remember very well, if you write wrong question, you will get wrong response. So minor change in this prompt, it will affect and change what you are asking or the response you will get back. There is no perfect prompts at all, but with time you will learn how to deal with it. Because prompt is very important, we will get into the prompt structure. Structure of the prompt is simply, first when you start typing, you write the instructions to perform. You want this ChatGPT to do something. For example, read article, describe something, summarize this task, help me with that. You start instructing the artificial intelligence what to do for you. After that, you give it a context. If you have some specific information to make the idea clear, like for example, provide me how can I cook Egyptian koshari, it's so delicious by the way, and the ingredients should be macarona, rice, chichvitsa, and other stuff like this. And you continue. This is example you need. If you are a programmer, you provide, for example, the programming language, the framework, the classes, the object, or stuff like this. Input data of the model. What kind of data this model will take from you? Like what we said, the ingredients of something you cook. This also considered input data to model to complete the task for you. Output format of the data. Okay, how you want the model to represent the output or the response? You want it to represent it in a bullet point, in a numerical aspect, on a list, on whatever you want, you provide. This is a structure. Remember this structure, you apply it for any question you would like to ask conversational tools to do, such as ChatGPT. For prompts, we have types of prompts. We have two mainly different types. We have hard prompts. Hard prompts simply is explicit instructions that clearly define the task that expected from the conversational tool to achieve and the expected output you want. It's so clear and defined. Use cases for this kind of prompt is task, for example, require a specific format or structure. You want the task to be done on a list, on a numerical value, or whatever. You have in mind specific output, and you need this desired outcome to meet this criteria you have in your mind. You implement, for example, for programmers, software feature, a specific one, and you know exactly what it is. Also for programming, you use debugging, that sometimes searching in the code where is the flow and if we have some issue. Second type of prompt, we call it soft prompt. Soft prompt is the opposite part of the hard prompt, which means that is less explicit. So you don't write exactly what you want from the model to behave or the conversational tool to behave. In this case, the task itself, it allows for creativity. Like, okay, I would like to cook today chicken with potato. But it's okay for me if you will add some more tomato and onion. Something like this. I would like to do a trip to such country. Can you provide me with something like that? So there is no specific criteria you have in mind, and you are open to explore any new solution provided you by the conversational tools. If you would like, if you have idea but you don't know what to do, I want to go to space but I don't know how. So in this case you can ask and the prompt will give you imagining. Designing, if you have idea on mind and you would like some designing, some graphical interface, it's for programming as well, some user interface, user experience, it's also good to use soft prompt. Learning techniques that we usually use it for the conversational tools, we have something we call it zero shot. Zero shot is because when you train a model on extensive amount of data, and this vast majority of data enables the model to understand the context itself and follow some specific instructions, then perform tasks without any examples from your side. And we have few shots. Few shot is the opposite of zero shot. You don't have a huge amount of data, so you start to providing more examples for the model to help you to generate the required output or response. For prompts, what is the best practice to use prompt? Be clear and specific. Don't try to all the time. Be clear. What do you want? And use examples for your prompt. If you have example for what you want this prompt to use, focus on what to do, because for sure the margin of what you don't want to do are far greater than what you want to do. So focus on what to do first. Keep input length reasonable. Don't write article for the conversational tool expecting to answer you in a sentence. No. Focus and write. Keep your question relevant to the conversation context. If you write something and you get lost and you feel that now it's not relevant as before, please start a new chat if the context get lost. Sorry. Experience with different solutions. For example, when we use ChatGPT, there is a button called regenerate. You don't like this response, you feel there is something missing, ask the chat to regenerate. We'll reprocess and will provide you with a new response. Compare it with the previous one, accept or reject, it depends on what do you want. So let's get into the prompt structure itself. How can you build the structure of the prompt and the formatting? First of all, you put all the instructions at the beginning. Remember, there is best practice. Second, if you have a lot of instructions, you can just divide them using this hash or divide them using the quote signs. Use leading words. If you, as a programmer, for example, you would like to implement specific software, so provide libraries, name of the library, name of the language, name of the framework you use. If you work in engineering, provide, for example, architecture, whatever you want, provide a reference, provide design, special design. If you even want to cook a meal, provide names, provide something that will help the model to understand what do you have in mind, so will generate it for you. That we call it leading words. To make it easy, you guide the model to generate the response what you expect. Break down complex into smaller. If you have a complex query contains of a lot of different stuff, please, it's better to break them one after another. Like you ask the first question, you get some response, you ask second question, you get some response, and go on, so on, go on, so on. Reframe your question. Use zero shot, use fine shot, use whatever. It depends on your goal. If you are clear, you know what you want, use zero shot. One time you get a response. No examples, nothing. If you think that you need more creativity, use fine shot, add more and more and more, and you will get what you're looking for. Organize your query. If you have a big query, you can even use an external Word file. Write your prompts there, make bullet points, copy it, and then use the conversational tools after you organizing your queries, your goals, and what you're looking for. For the conversational tools, what is the use cases of conversational tools? Use cases, especially for programming, is writing large blocks of code. This is for programmers, but for you, as a common person, you are not a programmer, it can do exactly the same. Initiating large and a new project. If you are a programmer, you do the same. You can initialize a new project, depend on the language you are using it. If you are not a programmer and you would like even to use it for a trip, you can even organize a huge trip by putting this trip into plans. You can make a plans for inviting people. You can make a plans for writing book. You can make a plan for everything you're looking for. It's really so flexible. Use your imagination. You will be more than happy using this artificial tools. Testing is for programmers because we obligated as a programmers, when we write some code, we test this code to make sure our application works fine with no problem. We use some data in the code, so we add test data generation. Technical documentation, we can write some technical documentation, that's for us as a programmer. But by the way, I have been asked to write article. And I wrote this article. It was really very bad article. You will not even read the first sentence of it. I love writing, but this article wasn't that good. I provided the article to my manager, who asked me to write it, and then I got feedback that no, the article is okay, but you need to rewrite some points. I took the article, I rewrite it, I used ChatGPT, I provided the article, seriously provided me with a perfect article based on my article. So in this case, ChatGPT doesn't do the job for me. I did the job and he enhanced my job and make it better. So that's how can you use the conversation tools on a daily life, not just for nothing. What is the benefits of using conversational tools? Something like ChatGPT is free and open source. In some countries it doesn't work. So I am advising you to use the next website, which we call it perplexity.ai. You can see the link on the screen right now. This website is available in most of the countries. It's also surfing and it was trained on open source public website like Google search engine, stuff like this. So it's really good website, and we will do some practical part to see how it works. It's good for writing code for programmers. Will assess them for testing and checking the system we are working in as a programmer, for learning and new skills and technology. Here is not just for programmers. If you want to learn languages, you can ask how to learn this language. If you would like to learn different things, you can ask how to do different things as well. Personalized assistance. It could help you with a lot of different personal tasks even. By the way, even you can write in English and you ask the model to provide you the answer, and the response in other different language will provide you with translation to the different language. Even you can write in your own mother language, not just English, and at the end you mention, please provide me the response in specific language. It will do it for you. So really it's a great to use conversational tools on a daily basis. But life is not fair. Sorry to surprise you, not everything always perfect as we're looking for, because utopia is not exist, it's just imaginary city. But it was exist one day in Islamic Empire. Anyway, uh, the drawbacks is inaccuracy, because as you know, the conversational tools, the models is trained on some kind of data set. So if this data set is not good enough, is not accurate information, you could have inaccuracy response from the data set. Ethical challenges. Remember that the biggest problem we have, that unfortunately as a human being, we are racist by nature. This is so bad. This is really so bad. So sometimes someone could train its model to serve a specific nation, a specific race, a specific political point of view, stuff like this. And then, because if this person owns the media, it could provide its own uh, atrocity propaganda. It's, you don't know exactly. So it's very, very important from your side as a user, because it's never been about the tool, it's about the user. Once you got response from artificial intelligence related to some of social information, race, religion, political, whatever, please do your responsibility and search, validate your response by yourself. Don't depend on conversational tools, artificial intelligence 100%. You will be really blind and you will hit the wall. Resource intensity, because we train the model in a huge amount of resource. It takes time, it takes money, so not everyone on an individual level will be able to train the model to serve this purpose. Intellectual property is especially for programming, even for images, even for writing, because sometimes, because the model is trained on online dataset, it could take some information from someone licensed and then provide it to you. If you suspect that the topic you are working on using artificial intelligence, if it's coding, for example, this code has a license, this image has a copyright, this song has something, please make sure to check it before using it. This is your task. We get now into live demonstration. Live demonstration, it will be mainly for programming, but please stay tuned with me watching it, because it's exactly the same approach even if you are not a programmer. I will explain both in one. So remember that there is no perfect prompt ever, but there is an attempt to make it clear. If you can make your prompt clear, that will be perfect for you. The first task we are going to do in general and even on a daily life base, we are brainstorming our mind. If you are thinking of something, what are about to do. You think about this. You write the model, you write the instruction, you write first what you are about to do. If it is development, if it is preparation of something, if it's a trip, if it is what. Describe your idea. You write what is your idea, describe your code and expected result from that code. Just be with me. That much better. Or let's make it even more smaller. No, I look bad. Ugly. Okay, I look a bit fine. So now we will continue to brainstorming. We will have some practical part. Let's start by taking this ChatGPT here and we will make some practical together. I have already prepared almost everything I need to use and I'm going to using it using my examples, which it is here. So first of all, for example, if I am a programmer and I would like to brain myself or my head with, I would like to your assess. If you notice here, I'm asking, let's ask first and then later we will see. Okay, I'm asking, I would like your assess to develop a new Maven application. I'm asking as a programmer to provide some kind of application. And at the same time, I am asking for the libraries. I'm providing what exactly information this need to do. what is Lombok, what stuff like this. This is especially for programming. If you look closely to the presentation itself, I am providing already. Here is what I would like to do, and here is link for ChatGPT how to do it. So please, you can just a little bit read this as a programmer, write it in your own, or change it, make it adapting to what you are looking for, and use ChatGPT or use Perplexity, which we are going to test right now. Here we got provided by code for programmers and even samples how to start your application. If you are satisfied, good. Remember, if you are not satisfied, you can ask regenerate. Or you can even ask the code to provide you with more details on a specific something. But you see, you got a beautiful architecture here. If we are going to use the same approach for Perplexity, which we spoke about earlier, Perplexity also will provide me with something similar. You can see it's almost identical, but will not be the exact same. And also I am provided with a specific codes I can follow during my work and my implementation. That is because I'm a programmer and I'm bringing my storm as a programmer. So what about if I'm not a programmer and I would like to bring my storm in something different? I can do like this, and I can ask the chat. For example, I would like to travel to Egypt. I am interested, for example, to do diving because I'm a diving teacher, and sight seeing for ancient guys, I'm not English teacher, so forget my mistakes, we will fix later. Ancient locations. Can you please provide me with the best places to visit and the best time to do it? Okay, for the mistakes, just use already what's provided to you. And okay, ancient, it's wrong for sure, I know. And place, because also wrong. And you ask the question. Now you will get provided with some answer. Okay, traveling to Egypt for diving and exploring ancient sightseeing, fantastic idea. Here is Sharm el-Sheikh, the city. Here is Hurghada. Here is Dahab, Marsa Alam, and the best time to visit and explanation of the best time to visit. You don't like this? You are interested in a specific area, you can take the specific area. Okay, I would like to know more about Sharm el-Sheikh. Can you provide me with more information? That is going to provide you. This is for ChatGPT. Do exactly the same with Perplexity, and you ask, you will be also provided with something similar. So guys, there is always alternative. It's not always ChatGPT. It's a model, which means that everyone can make its own model. Even you as a user, you can have your own model, but you just provide training. Here is the best places to visit for diving, and even some links and some sources what to do, and something related article for Perplexity. For the sake of not wasting your time a lot on jumping between Perplexity and ChatGPT, I'm going to continue my presentation using ChatGPT. Okay, and I hope that you understand the idea of how to write and to use ChatGPT or Perplexity, but we will continue now as a programmers. Stay tuned also, because we are going to go more. So now we finished how to generate our project. So what about if I would like to, as a programmer, to generate a new class or a method? First of all, you write clear name. What is the name of your class? What is the name of your method? What exactly you have in mind? Clear name definition will provide you with a clear class or method for programming, providing the programming language you use, attributes you have or variables you have in this class, and you mention any iterations, like if interaction, if this library or this class interacting with repository, with service, with controller, with some validation, with whatever, mention everything. And here we have the code which we generated. Generate a user service class using Java language. This class will have a basic root operation, for example, for user, and please keep reading it, copy it, writing it, and use it for your own purpose. I'm going to use what I'm already prepared. So let's go ahead and a new collection and continue generate. This is the next step. Now I have generated class. Oh my god, you see, magic. As a programmer, as a developer, you really need this tool to help you. Don't be lazy and use it every time, but you need to help. So I have already the class is ready for me. I can take it, I can test it. Remember, your responsibility, validation, validating the code. So now I have created already a new class. If you suspect something, you can keep few shots, ask more. Now let's go to continue by generating a new method. I would like to generate a new method. You identify your method and you start generating. I have the prompt of the new method. Sorry guys. And starting a new chat. Control V. And now you will be provided with some kind of methods and maybe something else different. And here is the method, and even for Java programmers, you have almost provided with a full working example. Here is the user validation class that you can use with the method inside it which you want. Here is the main class which will run your application, and here even a user class which will help you. So it's already provided with a full ready to test application. You can imagine if you will do this manually, it will take a lot of time. After we generate a class or a method, sometimes when you work, because usually as a programmer you need to refactor your code. Your code will never be the same every single time you are working on. So how can you refactor a method or class? You provide the programming language you use or you work in for refactor. You provide what is your initial thought of refactoring. What do you want to refactor? What is in your mind of refactoring? Clean code, design pattern, simplification. What do you have? You describe the functionality of the class you have in mind, and then you provide the code itself you need to refactor. And here is it. And also you can keep it checking it, please. I will get my refactoring class so you can read the slides while I'm copying from the next screen, from the other screen, what I'm going to refactor. So now let's jump into ChatGPT, generating a new refactoring, and okay. So I provided, please review the following code written in Java. Check the possibility of refactoring it and start work on it. And here is it. Your codes appear to be basic validation routine. Even it's provided me with the explanation what is this code could be. And it's a good best practice to reduce nesting and improve code quality. It takes my code refactoring to the best practice, provided me with simpler code, more precise, more clean. I can use it into my application as well. When you work, you keep working after your refactoring. After a while, something going on, and you find bugs. Oh my god, I hate bugs. Nobody like bugs. In fact, bugs is a problem in software. Something went wrong, but you don't know what it is, and you would like to know what it is. So now it's time you provide again the programming language you use, and you provide description and the functionality of the code or the chunk of code you want to find the bugs in. You provide the exception. What did you notice as a programmer went strange? What is wrong with the code from your point of view, so that you want this ChatGPT or artificial intelligence to provide you with suggestions or fixing, and then you provide the code you want to refactor or to fix the bug in. Okay, here is it. Finding bugs. Here is the question. Here is the new. If you follow this code, you will find refactoring. Okay, I am also preparing the code. Copy. You know, copy paste is amazing. No, we can't live without copy pasting, guys. So accept it. It's fact. Okay. Now we're getting into refactoring. I'm facing an issue. I know that I have a problem, by the way, with this email. So let's see if we got this issue or not. The code provider has a couple of issues. Yes, the regex pattern and an email validation. It's already detecting what is the issue I have, because I know that I have a problem with the email address. I knew that. So now it's provided me with better regular expression to protect my email. Should it check if it's at least 10 character long? provided me with the fix, provided me with everything, and as well provided me with really ready to use code for testing. So that's great. Now I found the bugs. You know that hand on hand, you can't work without understanding your code. Some code explanations sometimes required. So you ask ChatGPT to explain the code snippet, and you ask to break it down into whether pattern or some clean code or some frameworks, or what do you have in mind? What kind of explanation you do require? You provide the programming language this code written in, so ChatGPT will understand. Maybe ChatGPT will detect the programming language from the context, but it's better to be precise and clear. You provide with the programming language. You provide the code you want to understand. And then again, here is the code explanation, and here is the prompt, and here is read, take a screenshot until I get the code from my sneaky next screen. Okay, got it. Now jumping into ChatGPT, make a new chat and keep going, asking to explain me what it is. I don't understand this program. Please explain to me. I got the explanation. The Java code defines a simple user validation. I provided the class and I got already explanation. What everything import. What is this import do? User validation class. What constants I have. What is methods I have. Stuff. So I have already overview about what this code is doing. As far as you know, it's not only code explanation. You're still working on programming, which means that hand on hand, you write code, you are obligated to write test, unit test. How can you use ChatGPT to write unit test for you? First one is you ask for generating the test case you are looking for. Unit test, integration test, or what kind of test you want. You provide the programming language and the test framework you use in this programming language. You provide the code. If you can provide some explanation of the code, it will be great. So here is the test cases, how it looks like. 1, 2, and response. Let's jump into this one. Okay, got it? Great. Jumping into ChatGPT, making a new one, and providing test. And let's see. Let's jump again into perplexity for a second, just to play around as well, and we'll provide the same exactly test we would like to generate. Let's see what's going on. Here I ask for test. I got user test validation. I have even add before. If you notice here, I was asking to provide me with specific approach. Please provide me with given, when, then approach for the unit test for a Java programmer. If you use a different approach in your programming language, you can do exactly the same. As you can see, given, when, and then. Given, when, and then. And here are the test cases full of things ready to use. Take it, test it, and enjoy it. What about here? Can we have the same? Exactly. We have exactly the same in Perplexity. So Perplexity, if you don't have ChatGPT, it will be also very good option for you to make it easy working on programming. Usually when you work with testing, you need some data object to use on a daily basis because you would like to test. So what you will test without data? Data is everything in programming. You ask to generate the object and the format. If you would like the format to be JSON file, CSV file, array object, and you provide the length of the provided response, like 10 arrays length, 10 objects, for example, and you provided the object itself details, if it's user object, username, password, title, or stuff like this. And let's get into how it looks like. It's really, oh, sorry guys, it's really simple. As you can see, you just ask to generate and the design pattern. Where is it? Here it is. I am asking to generate this for me. I will ask Perplexity this time. Please, Perplexity, help me generating such unit test. Let's see what Perplexity will be doing. Here is the JSON object which provided for me as a Java programming. But I don't like it. I want it in a JSON format. I don't like it to be in a JSON array. I can be more nasty and ask, I would like the response to be in a JSON format, not Java format. So I provide what I want. So let's see Exactly. You see, I got it already in a JSON format because I didn't like the first one, so I asked it to provide me the second one. If you do the same exactly with ChatGPT, you will get maybe the first response from first time or maybe not. Yes, I got it already from first time. Okay, so after testing, when you finish test, usually you work on a project and you need to write some documentation. Even by the way, if you are not a programmer and you would like to write some documentation related to your project, for programmers we have two different type of documentation. What we call it inline documentation, which we ask for generating the document and the format, like Java doc for example, and we provide the algorithm which this code is using it, and we provide the code snippet which we want to have our inline document over this code. And here is it. Please generate me this user doc for the new code and the old code. I will quickly copy it from here and then provide it to you. Let's get to perplexity and let's go. Let's see how it looks like. Yeah, voila, you can see here is a Java doc content. You know, here I have Java, nice, very well formatted documentation or comments over my code explaining exactly what this code is doing it, and I did nothing. If you look to my code in the beginning, it's really naked code. There is nothing here. There is no explanation what this hell about. No one knows anything. But here you got provided with all the comments you are looking for. We move into the next target, and you already provided by inline documents for general people and common, not only technical documentation. We call it project documentation sometimes. I explain what is my project, what is the main idea of this project. It's exactly when you make a brainstorm, you explain what do you have in mind. But here you will be more clear that okay, I am working on a programming project which do 1 2 3 4. I am working on architecture building project which do 1 2 3 4. I'm working on engineering, I'm working in cooking, I'm working on whatever. I'm a teacher, I'm anyone. Okay, you provide your audience level. If this documentation will be provided to common people like me or to technical people, yeah, like me as well. So you can provide the audience level, which one you want to read this documentation. You explain why you need to generate this document, why it's important for you that ChatGPT or artificial intelligence will help you to generate this documentation. You explain the format of the documentation, how you want it to look like in a Word format. You need a title, you don't need a title, you need bullet points, you need numeric values, what you're looking for. And here is the document, and here is how it looks like, but it's written as a big chunk. For technical documents, I will also copy it from somewhere else on the fly. And let's get into our nice perplexity once more. Ask it to generate. I will let it generate, and then I will go to ChatGPT, ask also ChatGPT to generate for me documents. So here is a document, and it's giving me some description, table of content. I think there is something here I don't like. If you notice that I have been provided here with everything but just written. Okay, that's good for a common user. You can just copy and paste and that's it. But if you are a programmer, maybe you need to be more precise like here. You need the provided to be in markdown format. So I will ask, I would like the response format to be in markdown, GitHub, for example, readme file format, not just regular format. I will also copy it. GitHub is for programmers. It's very important tools for everyone. Even that, yeah, you can see it's marked down now, and now I have it. I can just copy it. Let's try perplexity. It will understand us if we ask the same or not. And let's see which one is powerful. No, perplexity, it doesn't provide me exactly what I want, but you can just play around and you will find your way. But what's a second? Sort of. Okay, so here is it, that you can do stuff like this. You can do presentation. You can do a lot of unexpected things, which really Amazing. All what you need to do is just you need to experiment with this stuff. We finished the technical documentation. Here we finish already with conversational tool, which means that our next title will be Inline Tools. We are going to speak in something specific for programmers. So if you would like to leave in that moment, okay, you are welcome to leave because this will be more specialized around programmers. And if you would like to stay, please, you are also more than welcome to stay. It will be my pleasure also to see you watching this presentation. Anyway, it was my pleasure to seeing you. For folks programmers, welcome on board, and let's continue with Inline Tools. Inline Tools is IDE provided instance like plugins. GitHub Copilot is the most famous one we use. Usually it has the model and has been trained, for example, on a wide range of public code repositories. So be careful with that and remember this word very well. It doesn't know specifics about which code comes from where. Copilot simply is advanced code completion tool, like suggestions tool. You will find it like your IDE suggesting you what will be the next word. Copilot is doing the same, but it's powered by artificial intelligence, and we will speak now about this powerful architecture soon. The artificial intelligence assistant will suggest you comprehensive lines of code. That's a different now. In regular suggestions, when you write your code in IDE, you will have just what will be next type of object, something like this. But with Copilot, you'll be provided with a chunk of code immediately after you start type something if you use Copilot. Copilot is not for free. You need to pay subscription for in order to use it. That's why I kept Copilot and Inline Tools at the end of this presentation. Okay, you need comprehensive context to grasp the object because Copilot will not be that easy. It's trained on a specific coding sets, so you need to be aware of what you're writing and what is the object. You need to explain what you want exactly when you use Inline Tools. Copilot provides us with several things, such as appropriate suggestions by understanding the code you write. When you write something, Copilot will detect it, try to understand it, and will give you the suggestions which could match what is in your mind. It will adapt your code style. That's really amazing feature because adapting to your code style will understand your like, okay, you like to write capital letter first, you like to use $sign at the beginning, all this adaptation, and it will be more personalized to your character and the project also approach. It supports for several programming language and frameworks as well. The only way to interact with Copilot is to use IDE. It's a plugins, so you will not be able to use it such as ChatGPT on a browser or something. Generates the code based on a natural language description, often provided through comments. We will see examples of that later. Architecture of Copilot is so simple. It's similar to front-end, back-end architecture. You have the client, you type your code, and the client is the plugins you use in your IDE. You type your code in these plugins and in the client. After that, the client will communicate with the server-side model. Server-side model will check in the repositories and the dataset where it's training on and will provide you with the suggestions which you are looking for. Copilot will measure the user acceptance, like if you accept this code or not, because it will compare the suggestions you accepted and the actual code which he takes this code from. It's like something interval, like it's working over time to adapt. It's also learning from our behavior. But unfortunately, Copilot, Inline Tools, they have some limitations. Like anything in life, we have limitation because we die. Okay, anyway, delay, delay suggestion. Delay suggestions, it's happening because, Copilot is like intensive resource using. Clients, back end, front end, and it's using your laptop now. It's not using a browser. It's not online. So to avoid this, sometimes you need to open a dedicated Copilot window. If you can do this, so you can do it. Inaccurate or misleading suggestion. Unfortunately, because Copilot is also trained over, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of different repositories. So it could give you suggestions which not fit. For that reason, be more precise, be more clear. Describe your name of the class and functions very well and very clear, so Copilot could help you. Coding style incompatibility. Unfortunately, Copilot will not provide you with what's style in your mind. For that reason, you need sometimes to train the Copilot on a specific style. You always provide, I'm using this kind of indentation, use it. Or if you have a predefined template, you can also use it, and you can review the style by yourself manually and adjust it. Libraries compatibilities limitation. Copilot has been trained over a well-known library. So if you use some library which is not so famous, maybe you will not get the support you are looking for. Continue with limitations. We have lack of dependency resolutions. Copilot doesn't understand what you have in mind. So maybe you'll find some missing import statements in your code. So please, you can provide the import statement yourself. So, this is already your responsibility. It's checking what you have been provided from conversational or inline tools. You use tools like IntelliSense or CodeLens to compare suggestions with the code you have or what you have in mind. Verify the code suggested for testing. This is your responsibility once more. Excessive suggestions, because Copilot, it could mix it between your IDE suggestions ability and the Copilot itself ability. For that reason, it will be much better if you can reassign some of the hotkeys shortcuts in your inline tools to different keys that you can use later on to not get like entanglements between the Copilot suggestions and the IDE suggestions. Complexity and duplication of code. Be more abstract. Be clear for what do you want. By this way, you can have a better code quality. How can you interact with Copilot? Interaction with Copilot is so simply. First of all, you need a comprehensive context to grasp your idea. And the best practice of Copilot is to do the similar. Give the file a meaningful name. Right name that it has something that Copilot will understand the purpose of this file. Naming convention, file classes or whatever is very important if you want inline tools to help you on the run. Having open tabs or examples if you would like to provide them for Copilot to use it on a daily basis for your examples or even on the same project you are working on. Same, give function or method meaningful name like class. Use existing code. If you have some existing code, provide it, use it as a context so you can have some desired response. Inline tools examples such using comments as we spoke before. How it looks like. If you have a class, you can just comment like this on the class and the Copilot itself will generate the class or update the class, or it depends on your comments. You write this comment as a command. The Copilot will take it as a command and will turn it into something that will be provided to you as a response. Sorry. Division operation. This is over a method, for example. This method is doing something specific. So please use this division operation and go ahead and continue. So that's how it looks like, the example I'm using. I don't use Copilot, to be honest, in my IDE. I don't have a paid version, but I study it. That's why I'm providing you with all of this information. So you can understand it and you have it in mind. Best practice of using Copilot. First of all, always, it doesn't make difference. It's Copilot, inline tools, conversational tools. Review the suggestions. This is your responsibility. Provide a proper context. Don't just ask random questions. Fine-tune with multiple iteration. Similarly to conversation tools. If you don't like the response, ask for more. You will get more response. Use it as a reference tool. Explaining, documenting, understanding what is going on under the hood, it will be great. Remember privacy. Don't provide something private and then later on you regret about it. Remember training limitation. Copilot is trained over open source repositories. So also you will not be provided with a new additions of maybe some kind of language. Use Copilot ethically, please. Check for code license, eligibility, understand exactly if this code belongs to someone, authorized to be used for free or not. Some use cases of Copilot, such as Smaller code fragments. If you write something smaller in your class, Copilot is better than conversational tools. It will assist you and will provide you more suggestions and more declarative suggestions sometimes. If you would like to make a new feature in your class or in your method, new method function class generation, but I prefer for the new class or module generation to use conversational tool, to be honest. Feature maintenance and bug fixing. Copilot is good for that because it's already inside your IDE, so you don't need to go somewhere else. Refactoring also the same. Continuous benefits of using Copilot is writing and simplifying on the fly. You just write and you immediately got some suggestion or some simplifications or whatever you are doing. It saves your time because you don't need to jump between Copilot and then you go to ChatGPT and then you come back from ChatGPT, you come back to make refactoring and all this stuff. It's mentoring. It could help you with a new language because, as you know, it's also trained on open source. As long as this open sources maybe contain a new language, it could be suggested for you as well by the Copilot or not. It depends on the Copilot on which repositories is training on. Personalized assistance by detecting your behavior, your style during time, and then will adapt and match your coding style and will provide you with that as well. As usual, drawbacks because utopia. Okay, anyway, inaccuracy. Similarly to ChatGPT, inaccuracy. Some fear of the new developer to rely heavily on Copilot, and I am suggesting for the new developers like me, don't be heavily relying on ChatGPT or Inline tools. Use them to help you, but don't use them to save you because they are not savior. It's not a silver bullet. They are just helper. They are not capable of writing like large section of code, but conversational tools is much better than this. Intellectual property problems and issue because if this code is licensed or not licensed. Irrelevant suggestions due to the lack of human intuition because Copilot doesn't know exactly what you have in mind, so it will provide you with something maybe this is not what you're looking for because maybe this part of code you work with is already linked to another part of code existing somewhere else Copilot is not aware of. Here is another bonus. I collected all, like most of the tools, large language model in one place. The use cases of conversational and inline. Make a screenshot. You have 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Going next. All the benefits also on one slide. 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next. Drawbacks. The non-utopia problems we have on conversational tools. Also you have 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Going next. It's never ever been about the tool. It's always about the users. Conversation tools, artificial intelligence, inline tools, car, driving, diving, flying, parachuting. It doesn't make difference what tools you have in your hand. It is you. This is your responsibility. The tools could be dangerous. I agree. But how you use it will define the word dangerous. Human beings are sometimes more dangerous than the tool itself. Tools is to help. So use it for help. Use it to support others. Use it to be good for others. Don't all the time use the tools wrong and then complain about the tools. Artificial intelligence, it will never replace you, at least for now, and it will never take you down as long as you use it properly, ethically, and you are understanding what you are doing with it. So that's my advice. So as you can see that artificial intelligence is telling you, I am not here to replace you or to make your work and effort useless, guys. So please use me well. You will enjoy and you will be more than happy. I'm really grateful that you spent time with me and you dedicated this maybe 1.5 hours. I hope that this presentation added some little value in your life, whether you are going to use the artificial intelligence on a technical perspective or non-technical perspective. It is all in your hand. If you like it, please just share it with others and make sure to spread the knowledge. Remember that knowledge we have, it is not belongs to the individual. It's not my knowledge. I am just a storage. I'm a vessel of other people's knowledge collected in me. I got it, process it, and I am sharing back with you. So let's share the knowledge. That's, to be honest, to be honest, I am provided and I'm enhanced, enthusiastic to do that by my religious beliefs as a Muslims, because in Islam we are really motivated to share knowledge with everyone, to spread the goodness among others, because that is the purpose of our creation, to help each other, to support each other, to be for each other. Thank you so much for your time and have a great and wonderful time. See you soon.